All right, a few questions. Manu, go ahead.
You said yesterday you were still trying to get the details of this $230 million the president has asked for the Justice Department to pay for his legal bills. Now that you've had some time, perhaps, to get the details, are you okay with taxpayers potentially being on the hook for that kind of money?
I'm not trying to dodge the question. I haven't had time to get the details. Okay, that's still on my list, things to do list. Yesterday was almost literally a 21-hour workday. Yes, sir. Back row.
Legislation signed to pay air traffic controllers during the shutdown. If that does pass in the Senate, would you bring the House back to vote on that? And then, absent congressional action, would you work with the White House to find a way to pay air traffic controllers during the shutdown? And where would you pull that money from?
Well, let me answer the questions in reverse order. We did work with the White House to get air traffic controllers paid. It's called the Clean CR. We passed it in the House September 19th. By my count, it's 33 days ago. It's been...
Sean Duffy just said
Yep.
that air traffic controllers are going to miss a picture.
Yes, yes. They're trying to find... The White House has bent over backwards to mitigate the harms to the American people. We got WIC funded by bootstrapping a 1930s era statute regarding tariff revenue. He found unobligated funds in the R&D accounts at DOD to get the troops paid in the middle of October. But we're running out of resources. They're running out of creative ideas, and there is not an existing pot of money that could cover the air traffic controllers' salaries right now. And so that is why we have to get the government reopened. Again, every Republican has voted repeatedly to do that very thing, to pay everyone and make all this madness stop. And the Democrats have now voted 13 times to keep the government closed. With regard to your first question, there will be a measure on the Senate floor today that Leader Thune and the Republicans are desperately trying to make sure that all these people are covered. They want all essential workers in all these categories to actually get their paycheck, even if the Democrats keep the government shut down. We are told that the Democrats have vowed to vote no on that measure. So they will not vote today. That's what we understand to be the case. They will vote against restoring paychecks to troops, Border Patrol agents, air traffic controllers, TSA agents, and all the rest. And it's unconscionable to us, but again, it's another step in their political game as they're using all of these people, hardworking Americans and their families, as leverage for their political purposes to cover their own tails with the radical left. Chad.
If it's so important to pay the air traffic controllers, you said you want to see what happens in the Senate. Why wouldn't you commit right now and say, we're going to have the House back in session, and we're going to vote? Because you know as well as I do, sometimes when one body moves something, it gives impetus to the other body.
Well, no, I don't know that. We just demonstrated it's not true, Chad. We passed the CR to get everybody paid. If I brought everybody back right now and we voted on a measure to do this, to pay essential workers, it would be spiked in the Senate. They're going to show you this afternoon that they would spike that bill. So it would be a waste of our time, and it would take the pressure off Chuck Schumer to get his job done and open the government again. This is what's so infuriating to us. Yes, sir.
You said yesterday that this needs to be assessed on a day-by-day basis. Now we're on day 23. Has the needle moved at all between the last 24 hours and what's it look like the next week or so?
Well, look, we do assess it day by day, hour by hour, because if you remember, the original CR was going to extend and allow 7 additional weeks for us to finish the appropriations process to November 21. Well, now they've eaten up the month of October, and we're getting closer and closer to that deadline. And so it is something that we take into account. It's a day-by-day evaluation. I will tell you that appropriators are working right now, even though we're not on the House floor, and they're preparing the next batch of bills, and there's discussions going on at the leadership level and among appropriators across chambers and across the aisle. Because they're serious people that understand we have to do serious work, and so we continue to evaluate it. But our plea today is to the Democrats: please, 5 centrists in the Senate, do the right thing. You know what the right thing is. Play the tape. You can find a floor speech or media interview with every single Democrat in the Senate. Every single one of them have given impassioned speeches. We could come up here and do a press conference and show you their own words where they say that this should never happen, that it would be harmful to the country and harmful to people, and now they're saying they don't care. They know better. They know in their hearts this is wrong, and we're asking them to stop it. Back row.
Last question. Speaker Johnson, Louisiana and a lot of other states have warned SNAP recipients they won't get benefits next month.
Yep.
Reportedly, some Republicans are considering a bill standalone on that. If they did pass it, would you be open to doing so here?
If the Senate passes the bill, then the House will address that. I talked to my Governor Jeff Landry in Louisiana, who greatly laments. We have lots of SNAP recipients in our state, as we do in many others. And you're talking about, I think it's 42 or 43 million Americans rely upon that vital service. And it's unconscionable that they would be held at bay and held as leverage on this. That's the pain that Chad Pergram asked Whip Clark yesterday, the pain that American families would suffer. And she said, yeah, it's regrettable, but hey, this is our time of leverage. We just let their own words speak for themselves. We're not for that. The Democrats are. I'll leave you with this thought. Republicans have now voted 13 times to open your government. The Democrats have voted 13 times to close it. The Democrats own the shutdown and all these horrible consequences, and you need to remind them of that. Thank you.